Hey FlossTube, it's Megan, Georgia Girl Stitching here on FlossTube and on Instagram. It is Thursday, October 8th, and I'm back for FlossTube number 9. So I'm a little late. I usually try to do it like end of a month, beginning of the next month, so I'm about 8 days later than I want it to be, but I have a really good excuse and a really good reason that I will share with you in a little while. I first want to thank all of my wonderful subscribers. Thank you so much for coming back. Thank you for joining me for the first time. If this is your first time checking me out, I hope you like what you see, and if not, then no hard feelings, and I hope you find someone that you do. I guess I can start with a little bit of a life update. So I finished my first block of medical school, which was successful, I guess. In the end, I did really well. Thankfully, couldn't have done it without David, my fiance, and my family, and honestly all of you guys. I got a lot of support and a lot of supportive messages over the last few months, and I seriously can't thank you enough. They always seem to come when I really needed them, so I really appreciate it. And then I have officially started my second block. So I guess September 25th, I think, is when I finished my first block. And then I went home for the weekend back to Atlanta, where I met up with my mom, my future mother-in-law, and 2 of my bridesmaids, and we went wedding dress shopping. So I was able to get my wedding dress. They got their dresses, and then I'm working with the other 3 to get their dresses. So I am absolutely in love with it. Obviously, I cannot show it because some people watch this. So I have to hold that kind of close to the chest for the next like 8.5 months, because we get married next June. So the dress officially comes in, I think, early December is what they said. So start the alteration process and get it sealed in. So yeah, as my lovely friend Candy would say, I officially have a wedding dress to fit into. So I will be watching everything. But no, it's funny. At Stitch Away, the first back in January, right after I got engaged, I went and grabbed for a piece of chocolate, and she very funnily and jokingly smacked my hand and was like, "Girl, you got a wedding dress to fit into." I don't think so. So I always think about that now, but in a healthy, wonderful way. So yeah, so that was really fun. And then for the next week, I kind of bounced back and forth between Auburn and Atlanta until last Friday. I got up very early and headed up to Cincinnati. So I actually it was kind of semi-spontaneous. The stars kind of aligned. I originally was supposed to be going to a concert on October, I guess that was October 2nd. And so obviously that is not happening. It actually got pushed to next November, and I booked it last October. So this concert really making me work for it. But it'll be really fun. And that Friday was officially opened up, and it happened to be the first Friday. So Keepsakes does Stitch Out first Friday of every month, where you can come and hang out for the day. And then also happened to be Keepsakes fall sale that weekend. So it just stars aligned, and I headed up there, went straight to Keepsakes and hung out there for the day. And it was absolutely wonderful. I miss everyone so much, and didn't quite realize how much I missed Keepsakes and being able to go hang out with those people as much as I did, until I actually was sitting there and like just thinking like, oh, I used to be able to do this like every other day, and now it's like once every 5 months. So thank you all so much for coming. I mean, people were coming from, Candy came from Columbus, and it was just, seriously, thank you all so much for coming out. I know it was a normal like Keepsakes thing anyways, but I really enjoyed spending time with you all. And then that night I stayed with Taylor, who is a dear friend, part of the Keepsakes crew, and had a great time that night. We went to brunch the next morning, and then I had lunch with another friend, and then I met up with another friend who I was staying with that night. So I kind of like had to get all of Cincinnati in like 36 hours. But it was a whirlwind, but it was absolutely wonderful. And I just love Cincinnati so much and those people so much. And then came home Sunday, just this past Sunday, left early and came all the way back to Auburn. And then Monday I started block 2. So I'm 4 days into my second block of medical school, and yeah, it's a hit the ground running kind of block. So I had to get this in, but I originally wanted to do it this past weekend, and obviously I could not do that. So, but I'm really happy to be back and hanging out with you all, and I have so much to show you. I have everything this video, absolutely, well, except back from the framer. I haven't got anything framed, but everything else I have, because I have not 1, not 2, but 3 finishes, 1 start, 2 whips, and 3 sort of FFOs, where they're not framed, but they're ready to be framed. I have haul, I have Stitchy kindness, and I have a lap stand to review. So this is good. Buckle up, get a snack, use the bathroom, because this is going to be, I assume, quite a video. I'll try not to belabor too much, but got a lot this month and a half. I guess it has been quite a while, so got a lot to show. So I guess we'll just go ahead and jump right in. Let's start with some Stitchy kindness, because everyone is just so wonderful, and I got some really, really sweet packages over the last month. So Toni, who is in technically northern Kentucky, but part of the Keepsakes crew, she sent me a really sweet package, and she also, this table is completely full, so I will be reaching a lot, sorry. She started out with this really, really sweet card. I love the mermaid. Gorgeous. And essentially she just said, you know, this is one of those things that I absolutely loved, and I got it when I did, but I just don't see myself really ever doing it. And she thought of me, that someone who might actually do it. She also sent this really wonderful bookmark that I love. This beach rules, all the different beach rules. So love that. So what she sent was the complete kit. I think this was a limited edition kind of full kit kind of thing from Hands On Design, I Dream of the Sea. So this whole kit comes with this, it's actually all in the back here. So it comes with this pattern, the floss, the tray, this pattern, the spool, this pattern, and also a corner gauge thing. This, which is the I Dream of the Sea corner gauge, which you can never have too many corner gauges. So it was the complete kit. So I got the pattern, and then here's the tray and the spool with the fabric, and then the fabric and floss and the finishing fabric. It was just, gosh, it was, I mean, and even the finishing instructions. I probably will not be finishing it myself, but whoever I do give to finish, I can hand them the instructions. So, I mean, just absolutely incredible. I seriously, Toni, can seriously not thank you enough. I mean, this, I'm very excited to do. This has been on my wish list for quite a while, actually, this I Dream of the Sea and the wild salt air. And so, as you know, me and the beach, thank you so much. I seriously can't thank you enough. And then I got another package from Renee, and it was quite a package as well. But the one thing she had in there was actually a fat quarter. It's like a quilt kit, I think is what she called it, a quilt kit of like 4 or 5 different fabrics that were coordinating, and it was for my mom. So I've already seen my mom, so I've already given that to her, so I don't have that to show you. But she did give me this, and I'm trying to find the card. I'm not sure where I think I left it in I have like a bin where I keep all of my cards that I get. I think I left it in there. But what she did was she completely kitted up for me this little bit of summer from Cross Point Designs. And this is when she had already done it and decided to pass it along to me, which is really sweet. And it's so cute. It's really small, which is really nice. But it has a lot of colors. And she very kindly gave me all of the colors. Oh, here's the card. I put it with the project because that makes sense. Just a little hooray, really, really sweet. Sweet little note. And all the DMC. This little thing has a lot of colors. So And she also gave me the fabric for it. So it's just this tiny little 32 count vintage blue whisper. Gosh, when you don't do a floss tube for a month and a half, you really gotta get back in the swing of things. So, vintage blue whisper. This tiny little piece, which is really sweet because, as you know, I have my beach wall, and these kinds of projects are really good because there's going to be little holes here and there that, you know, the way things are going to arrange, I'll have space for like a tiny little thing, and this is going to be perfect. So thank you so much, Renee. Really appreciate it. Oh, she also gave me these really cool floss cards. These like floss straps. I don't usually use them because I do the bobbinating, but I don't bobbinate my fancy floss. So this would be, as she has an example, Victorian motto, Prim Tan. So yeah, these are gorgeous. These are all these different fabrics that have the hole punched out. So yeah, so I can start using these for some fancy floss. So thank you so much, Renee. And then other Stitchy kindness was actually when I saw Candy this past weekend. She had this pattern and knew I really loved it and wanted it. And so it's called A Day at the Beach by Country Cottage Design. Actually, I first saw this pattern finished. I didn't see it in person, but on Instagram, Stitchy Linda on Instagram, she lives in Florida and has a whole beach. I think it was early summer. She was putting up her stuff for her beach wall, and I saw this. I was like, oh, I love that. So there's kind of I would probably change some colors about it, but the overall design I absolutely love. So thank you again, Candy. And then let's see. So this is kind of gonna transition from Stitchy kindness to new start, because another package I got was from Taylor, my wonderful friend that I stayed with on Friday. She sent me this huge care package that wasn't just for me, but it was also for David and Tank. She sent me a Stitchy thing, and then she sent David. It was funny because her husband's name is Brad, and they both really like whiskey and bourbon, and so it was from Brad to David, this little Ziploc bag that had like 4 little bourbon shots in them. And then they have a wonderful dog, Buckshot. And it was like from Buckshot to Tank. And it was like 2 little dog treats. So it was really cute, really cute care package. But what she sent was, she went to Keepsakes and found my wish list that I had made for a theoretical bridal shower before, the world shut down. And this was on there, and she completely cut it up for me. So what it was is Winter's Wisdom by Cottage Garden Samplings. And I already have the Love one, and then David's mom kitted up the Merry and Bright for me, and now she's kitted up the Winter's Wisdom, which were my top 3 favorite. I mean, I love them all. They're all wonderful. These are my favorite 3. And then I also bought already the Bliss one. I haven't kitted it up or anything, but I really liked that pattern too. So slowly working my way on getting the full set. So I absolutely love this. She chose a different fabric than the called for, which is even more perfect in my opinion. And then this needle minder as well is from her that she made. And this was my start on it. So the fabric is 36 count linen smoke blue. I don't know the fabric designer. I don't know if it's Zweigart, which hand dyed, I'm not sure. It's not hand dyed, but I'm not sure where it's from. But yeah, so this is my start. Actually, it's so funny. This is actually very deceiving in my opinion, in the sense that in this picture that I keep dropping, it's just my thing. I always have to drop something in a video. It looks like this is really big, a lot of stitching, and it's not an insignificant amount of stitching by any means, but I don't know, when I saw this, I was like, oh, this can take forever. And then I worked on this, and this was only 1 week's worth of work. So I guess but give or take. So the reason I started this, actually, let me back up, which by the way, I just love this so much. I do give a word of caution, is in the picture, she did all the called for floss. The fabric's a little different, but the floss, the blue tree, that looks more kind of sky bluish, I guess, versus this is very teal. It's called teal frost. And these are the colors all together. And as you can see, like this, it's very tealy. So if you're wanting more of the color on the cover, and if you want more of that blue versus teal, you might need to change it out if you're really diehard about that. That's my only, I love it because I love teal and I love blue and I love it all, so it works, but that was my only thing. And then the reason I started it was week 10 of block 1 was my worst week of med school, just because we had 4 exams. 2 of those are major practicals. One of those practicals was our first standardized patient. So standardized patient is we had like 4 cases we had to learn. And then we actually did a telemedicine encounter with, it's essentially role play, where a local community person has been trained and to act as if you have this disease. And then we come on and we play doctor and we act like we're actually in a patient encounter. And we have to go through the whole steps and then we have to write up our note at the end, and it's very stressful. But it was even more stressful this year because we're doing telemedicine. We're not in person with these patients, and it's their first year doing telemedicine. And but because we had we weren't going to be doing like physical exams because we're not touching them. You know, normally it's a wellness check, but that's not as much. So what they decided to do was to give us 4 skin cancers that we might have to tell our patients. It essentially was a follow-up visit where they came in and they'd already gotten the biopsy, and then we, as first year medical students, had to tell them that they had either a melanoma, basal cell carcinoma, squamous cell carcinoma, and the 4th one was like the benign of the seborrheic keratosis. So it was like, but as a first year, like, it was very stressful learning how to, they were really testing us on the humanism aspect, like how we, empathetic, compassion, because they gave us what the plan was with the diagnosis, and they gave all of that to us. So they're really testing us. But it's like, I happened to get the melanoma case. So my first patient, I had to tell they had melanoma. So that was a very stressful week. But I was starting that week knowing it was going to be stressful, and it's like, I was working on the Quaker pumpkins, and I was like, I'm enjoying this, but I need I don't know, I needed something different and something. So I was like, what I really need this week? I need some wisdom. So I was like, this seems like a really good thing to start and focus. And the trees, I started in the middle with the trees, and they were just very easy pattern, didn't even have to look at the pattern. It was very repetitive, and it was just like, I just need something easy and gives me wisdom. It all turned out great. It was a very successful week, but I slept a lot that weekend. Actually, not really, because I had exams the following week, but I acted like I slept a lot that weekend. Anyway, so yes, thank you so much, Taylor. Absolutely love it. She had a really cute card too that came with it. Very pretty and glittery, and love it. So in each block, we have a standardized patient each block, and it's all about like whatever you're learning that block. So this block is all musculoskeletal system. Each block is like a system. So this is musculoskeletal, so they'll probably have like a dislocation or something, and we have to tell them that kind of thing. So, okay, so that's my new start. Those are my Stitchy kindness. And now we'll go to my whips. So I only have 2 whips, and I've only worked on them in the last 2 days. So the first one I did, actually, the one I did last night, we'll start with that one. So the one I did last night was, I was working on something else. I was like, I kind of want to do, I had kind of a lighter day yesterday. So I was like, I kind of put a little bit more brain power into cross stitch. So I decided, out of the kindness of my heart, to work on Starry Night Over the Road. It is a full coverage artisty cross stitch design that I am doing for David. This is his favorite painting, Starry Night Over the Road from Van Gogh. And he saw this cross stitch pattern and has begged me to do it. It has been a very slow going project because it's a lot of colors, a lot of confetti, but I love him, so I will do it. But I was like, you know, I have the motivation. I had a lot of colors. Actually, I'll insert a photo of what it looked like last time you saw it. And so what I did was I didn't want to pull out a lot of new colors. Normally, I'm doing like the diagonal, so 10 by 10 block in the diagonal, which I learned from Erin 2 Martini and Jessie Marie does stuff. That's kind of how they tackle their full coverages, and I really liked that. And then you don't have like the potential line between pages. So I started that, but not every color is in every block, right? So normally, you know, when you're doing a 10 by 10 block, if there's a new color in there you didn't already have a parked thread for, you got to start a new thread and that kind of thing. I wasn't really in the mood to start new threads yesterday, so what I did is I just went ahead and color completed all of my already parked threads. So this is where we're at. So it looks a little scattered because I was just kind of color completing, but this is where we're at. So I got a couple hundred stitches. I don't stitch count stitches, but it seems like I probably got a few hundred in there. So now when I pick it up again, I will go back and start the new threads in this block and kind of work my way back down and start filling in these blocks. But I really liked that. It was kind of fun of, you know, okay, I've got this color, where else is it? Let me go ahead and finish it off. And then, and just kept doing that all the way down. So I think that's what I'll kind of do is I'll start new colors and do blocks until I get quite a few parked threads, and then just go through and finish off the parked threads and then start over. It's kind of a nice process. So that's where we're at. I don't have Pattern Keeper. I don't have a tablet. I'm the Apple person of the family. And David has a Kindle Fire, but for some reason I'm not able to get Pattern Keeper on Kindle Fire. So because he already has a Kindle and I don't really use it a whole lot, I haven't justified buying a new tablet yet. If anyone has any suggestions on how to do that very cheaply, I'm open to it. So yeah, so I have no idea like where I'm at on it, what the percentage. It would be really fun to know. I kind of, maybe one day I can justify that cost, but yeah. And then my other whip is Patchwork Quaker. I decided to pull that out couple days ago after I finished something, and so I decided to pull that out, and that's actually going to be my focus piece for the block. So just to everyone's memory, this is the pattern. I'm doing this as a stitch along with Shiloh from XStitchMD, hashtag #CauseQuakersSal. And so that's what it will look like. And then this is where we're at on it. So really, I'll put a picture in before where it was, and then this is where we're at, which I'm just working on this motif here. I did not get much done. I really just was doing that because I've only worked on this for like a day. So, because I just pulled it out. And what it's attached to, and why I haven't removed it, is my lap stand that I got. Kay's Creation lap stand. So I'll do a review on this after I finish up with all the stitchy stuff, just in case anyone who's not interested can move on. So I'll do this at the end. Absolutely, I'll go ahead and just say I absolutely love it. And then I'll go over it a little bit more. But yeah, so I'm keeping it attached to the stand because this is gonna be my focus piece. Whenever I have a lecture that I can just sit and listen to, I don't really need to, be taking notes on or something like that. Like we had a review yesterday, I'm not taking notes and stuff. So I can stitch during that. So I just kind of keep it attached to the stand, but that also gives me the flexibility in evenings, like I worked on Starry Night, if I want to work on something different, I can, but that's going to be kind of my focus piece for this block. And where I got that idea from is actually I decided to make Pumpkin Quakers my focus piece for last block. And because I did that, I have it done. So I'll put a picture in where it was just so you can see. But here is the completed project. Now I can't see through, so there it is. So yes. So as you can see, I went with Autumn Harvest. That was definitely the fan favorite of the comments. It was a fan favorite of my family, so that is what we went with. And thank you all so much for all of your suggestions. You seriously had so many good suggestions. It was very hard to choose. But Autumn Harvest just kind of encompassed a lot of those suggestions and kind of encompassed what I wanted to do with this. So I need Stephanie. So on Friday, I showed it. She was my Vanna. I would hold it up and she went through all the changes. So I need Steph. But it was very funny. So what I essentially did, let me start on the edge here. Let me just show this corner. So obviously I changed the words, Autumn Harvest, and that is in the color, Classic Colorworks Trail Dust is the light brown of the words. And that is in full thanks to my father, the graphic designer of the family. He, when I went home for Labor Day, I knew what I was gonna do, and I brought home all of my fancy floss, and I was like, Dad, what color do I make all of these things? And he came up with these colors. So he helped me with the Autumn Harvest color. And then I struggled on what color to make the border, and he heavily suggested the dark brown, same color as the stems. And then instead of the birds, I did an acorn up here and the 2 leaves on either side. And then the color of the leaves is the same color as the middle pumpkin, because as he put it, that would have a good symmetry between all 3 of them. The acorn pattern actually, so Patchwork Quaker has an acorn. And so I grabbed that because someone had a suggestion of acorns, and I kind of had the idea of doing a squirrel, but I just couldn't make the squirrel work. So I thought, so I saw an acorn and my mom said acorn. So I was like, let me try acorn. And then I saw that it was too small for the space. So I just expanded it out. I have Max Stitch on my computer. So I just expanded it out 1 and that fit perfectly. And then the leaves, I just Googled like free fall leaf cross stitch pattern and this popped up. If you just Google that, it'll probably pop up for you too. I don't have like a link. It was just like a picture of like a free leaf pattern. So if you're interested in that, I would just Google free fall leaf cross stitch pattern. And then the grass I had already started last video, and that is Classic Colorworks Spinach. So yeah, so this is the final product. If you have not started this pattern and you would like to, pro tip, suggestion is, my suggestion is to do it in sections. So, you start, if you're a middle starter, you can do this too. Wherever you started, I would recommend, I would recommend doing the entire thing as you go. So I would do the border, I would do the, whatever the pumpkin you're working on. Around that pumpkin, I would do the stars, the border, the grass, and the bottom border. Because going back and doing what I did, as you saw, was I started out doing, the pumpkins and the stars. But then as I went, I got impatient and just did all the pumpkins. And then I had to go back and do all of the rest of the stars. There were like 12 stars left. The entire border all the way around. And that gets, it's a lot of border and that's a lot of stars. So if you would just want some variety, as you move across, I would highly recommend doing just like a whole panel. I did that with the grass. Under each pumpkin, I did the grass with it, and that I really liked that. So that's my recommendation. If you haven't started this, or if you have and you're, getting kind of burned out on some border, then I would recommend doing it in like sections. That's my first finish. Yay. I'm gonna work on getting this framed. My dad had the suggestion of, I think he called it, essentially, it's for canvas. It's a canvas frame that you can get where it's kind of, it goes around it and it's kind of sunken into it. So you have like some space between, I'll put the name across in a picture of what I'm talking about. But that's a cool idea. He did that for a canvas painting that he has, and I really like it. And so I'm thinking about that, but who knows? I'm not in a rush to get this framed because I won't have it framed before autumn's over. So it's gonna be for next fall anyways. And I have a few more things I need to get framed before this. which we will talk about shortly. The other finish I have is another hello from, oh, that's Pumpkin Quakers Hello from Liz Matthews on 40 Count Ren by Picture This Plus. The other finish I have is the Loved by You from Hello from Liz Matthews. And that one I have the, this is it. So it's kind of long, so I'll hold it back here. How sweet it is to be loved by you. And as someone informed me, this is actually a song, which I did not know. But I love the sentiment. I'm gonna do it how she has it. I'll flash a picture. How she has it, where it's like oversized, like that letterboard in the frame. So it'll be kind of, you know, oversized in a frame. Probably a black frame like that too. So yeah, and this is 36 count platinum, and I did 2/2. So I'm in the camp that does 2 strands of thread on 36 count. I like the coverage. I'm very much a coverage person. I don't really like my fabric to show through unless that's an imperative part of the pattern. But typically the more coverage, the better. So on 18, 36 count, I'm doing 2 strands. I don't start doing 1 strand until 40 count. But yeah, I absolutely love it. It was so fun to do. It was so fast. And it's just a really sweet little sentiment. So love that, Liz Matthews. Very excited to have that done. Well, that's 2. So I finished these 2 and then about a week ago, and I was like, you know, I don't know what to work on. I have no idea. I have all these whips and I want to work, I want to work on all of them. So what do I do? And I was during my break last week and I was home and David was like, well, where are you on all of them? And I was like, you know, I haven't taken inventory on them in a while. So I pulled them all out, put them all on the kitchen or on the living room table. And then he helped me. Actually, I took a picture. I'll insert the picture right here of what I did. And you can kind of see them all spread out. And he was like, okay, well, which one's closest to being done? Because you're kind of on a finishing streak here. So, and you have a lot. So what's the next one closest to being done? I was like, well, the next one closest to being done is my Reindeer Roundup by Prairie Schooler. So he's like, well, then work on that and finish that. I was like, oh, but it's like autumn time, not Christmas time. He's like, but then it can be done for Christmas. I was like, oh yeah. So, so I pulled that back out. I got this one has many intentional and accidental modifications. So this is the original pattern. Love it very much. I actually originally got it for my parents' soon-to-be cabin, and I was like, I'm gonna have to make them another one because I'm keeping this. But this is Reindeer Roundup from Prairie Schooler. Absolutely love it. And then what I stitched this on 32 count flax. And here is my finished product. So intentional modifications is as I've said in my previous videos, I actually haven't pulled this out since like my first or second FlossTube. So many of you have not seen this, but in my world, there is no Reindeer Roundup that does not include Rudolph. And then here, there are only 8 reindeer. And I thought that was very rude that Rudolph was not included. So I figured out how to add a 9th reindeer. So what I did, each reindeer kind of has a counterpart that's similar. Let me see how I can hold this to show you. So like this one has one here, the 2 big guys, these guys, and this one kind of goes with the other 2. So what I did was like, well, let me find one that doesn't have an obvious counterpart. And that was this guy here eating grass on the ground. So what I did is I took him, flipped him, and put him down here with the trees. So now we have 9. I'm like, okay, well, one of them needs a red nose. So I decided to go with the one in the middle. And so I went with this guy. He's kind of higher up, so he has a little red nose. My dad, again, had a great suggestion that to make it very clear that that is Rudolph, and around red nose, I need to put a red bead there. So I don't have any red beads. So one day when I get some red beads, I will add that. So it's essentially finished. It's not quite finished, but it's essentially finished. And then the accidental modifications are the reindeer are in 3 colors, not 2, as originally charted, because I misread a number and got this light brown. So it's supposed to be those 2 dark browns, and then I accidentally made this guy the light brown. And I realized that, and I was like, I am not ripping him out. Honestly, I kind of liked it too. So I have a more diverse reindeer roundup. So now I've got 3 browns, and I decided, I was like, okay, well, I'll just make 3 reindeer each color, because I got 9. So 9 divided by 3 is 3. So it worked out well. So yeah, so 3 reindeer colors, 9 reindeer, 1 Rudolph. And then Santa's arms are a little poofier than they're supposed to be. I made Santa a little extra jolly. Because I accidentally, on this arm, no, this arm, he comes down 1, 2, or up. Essentially, one of these arms, I did an extra row, and in order to make it even, I do an extra row on the other arm, so his arms are a little poofier. Oh, it's an extra row up. So like here, but I did that row first. So I would have had to rip out his entire arm to get that row out. And I was like, you know, Santa's meant to be jolly and big, and it works. You wouldn't have even known if I hadn't just told you. And then my trees up here, one of them's off like a stitch. And so I had to, it doesn't matter. It looks good from a distance, and you're not going to be counting and seeing if it's perfectly symmetrical. So I love it. I'm very happy with it. I kind of struggled with putting where to put my initials in the year, because my mom is very intent that I always do that. And I agree. It's important to have your, initials in the year, because you never know when or where this is going to end up, and you should always mark your, all of the things. And I do agree. But I was struggling with this one. I'm like, where do I put it? That it's not, because I don't like it being that obvious. I want it to be small. Like on Autumn Quaker, I did them really small down in the corner. So like it's there, but it's not obvious. I will say I did not in Loved by You, because there is no way to not make that obvious. So that one I'm just going to write on the back of it, and it's a little less, I don't know, not as imperative, I guess. But this one I really struggle. So this was just the other day, I was like, David, I don't know what to do. We were like watching TV, and I'm like, I don't know where to put it. He's like, well, put it in his beard. I'm like, in his beard? That's extremely obvious. He's like, well, not if you make it white. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm putting in his beard? He's like, yeah. And so I was like, well, let me see. Because I was like, this is dumb. This is not gonna work. So let me just do it. He was completely right. He keeps doing that. In his beard, let me see if I can get it. Sorry, hold on. Let me see if I can get it to, I don't know if you'll be able to see it. I will insert a photo of a close-up of his beard. And what I did is at the bottom in white, I backstitched MR, and then I couldn't fit the whole 2020. So I did like the apostrophe 20. Let me see if I do that. No, you're not gonna get it, but I will insert a photo. But yeah, so it was really funny. And so I know it's there. And if you look really closely, it's there. Because you can tell like there's backstitching in his beard. So it's kind of fun. Anyway, it's just kind of funny. So this piece has a lot of stories attached to it. So yeah, so there's Reindeer Roundup. Absolutely love it. All right. So now, from Keepsakes. Not only did I come home with haul, you know, just normal Stitchy haul, I came home with 2 extra people in my life. So these 2 ladies, I have talked about. I have never been able to show on FlossTube because they've been with Barbara at Keepsakes since I started FlossTube. But I am doing the Celtic Ladies series from Lavender and Lace. I'm doing the conversions. I've always really loved them, but I never really liked the coloring very much. They just didn't go with my style or my decor or anything like that. So I never started them. But then I discovered a Facebook page called Celtic Ladies L&L Celtic Ladies Conversion Facebook page. And that is where people who do these, it's kind of like the Mirabilia, but for the Celtic ladies, where they post all of their conversions. And for each one, they have a conversion. And the only one I haven't completely found is spring. Spring's still a little difficult for me, but winter and autumn were both posted. So as you guys know, I mean, I've worked on the Celtic summer, so you know about that. But I have finished the winter and the autumn. I finished those last year in 2019, and I left them with Barbara, and she hand cut triple mats for them and put them together. And I finally could afford to bring them home with me this past weekend. So these are not framed. I don't know when they're gonna be framed, hopefully sooner than later, but I gotta rebuild my budget for cross stitch because as you will tell, they deserved every penny, but they were a lot of pennies. So the first one I'm gonna do, I'll do it in order. So back in Stitch Away 2019, I went to that was my first Stitch Away, and I started Celtic Winter. And then I finished her that May of 2019. So Celtic Winter, I don't know the fabric. I think I have it saved somewhere, but I have not been able to find it. So if I find it, I'll insert it right here. It's definitely a 28 count Lugana. And this was one of the conversions on the page. And then she hand cut these mats. So I'm gonna scoot back and do the reveal. So from a distance, the matting is just absolutely perfect. And then up close. So you can see it's like a blue silver conversion. Her muff there, puff has a whisper all in it, silver cry neck. And then all the way down. That hand cut matting is just incredible. On my Instagram, I have a story saved with with the winter where I do kind of a full coverage thing like this. But yeah, absolutely obsessed. When I saw her, I almost started crying. And then she showed me autumn, and then I started crying again. So yeah, lots of emotions, but just absolutely gorgeous. So hopefully getting her framed very, very soon. It's obviously not a standard size, so all of that. Let me put this over here. And then we have Celtic Autumn. In the distance. So these are not the same size, even though they were both stitched on 28 count Lugana. Cannot tell you what happened. But they are very different sizes. My original goal was to get them like in the same frame, and then Barbara called me. She's like, these are not the same size. I'm like, I don't know what happened. They're both 28 count Lugana, but this is stitched on 28 count mushroom Lugana. This mat is like almost like a fabric mat. It's not the dark orange mat. It's like this. It's not quite cardboard. And then I'll span up. This one was just so much fun to do. I did this one last year as well. It took me quite a while, but oh, absolutely gorgeous. And this one actually, Amy at Globetrotting Stitcher, she's working on this one right now, so you can actually watch it in progress over with her. But this is what the final product looks like. Except I did change one thing about the conversion accidentally. I wasn't paying close enough attention to the numbering. These beads in the green section technically should be the yellow beads. Not the gold, but like the bright yellow beads are technically what's supposed to be what's called for in here, but I misread and just assumed it was supposed to be the green beads. So I did it and I didn't notice it until after I was done. So I just left them. I think it adds a little extra to it. I don't have a problem with it. So yeah, and then this actually is not even in the called for pattern. That was part of the conversion for a person. She actually posted on the Facebook page. She hand charted this for us and added the leaves, which is just gorgeous. I will insert a photo too. I'll insert 2 photos of what the original patterns look like, so you can kind of see for comparison. Hopefully you'll have already seen that because I'll do that before I show them, but I'll insert that and so you can kind of see. But yeah, just I could stare at these all day, so I will put them down for now. But yeah, so hopefully those will be framed very soon and up on our walls. It's just I'm almost at the point where like even when I finish all of them, the idea is like you switch them out every season. I might just have them all up. I might just have them all up all year long. Just stare at them all year long. And then the last thing I brought home from Keepsakes. So I showed this one of my earlier floss tubes to kind of commemorate my time in Cincinnati and Keepsakes for the 2 years I was there. I started and finished a pattern. It was a combination of 2 patterns that we got at Stitchaway 2019. Sue Hillis, actually that was 2018, so I bought that one. So Sue Hillis did the Keepsakes house as a pattern, so you could stitch the Keepsakes house. And then at Stitchaway 2019, we got a pattern called the real, from Heart and Hand, the real Keepsakes in Life are friends. Actually, Steph is going to be starting that for her Starttober, so you can watch that one unfold with her. But I loved both of those patterns. But I didn't want the real Keepsakes in Life of Friends. It has this really large black chicken and you finish it on chicken wire. It's very cute, but not my aesthetic. So what I did to commemorate my time is I combined the 2. So I did the Keepsakes house and the quote underneath it. And then I stitched that. And then over the last, when did I start that? Oh, it was last year that I finished it because at Stitchaway 2020 and before that, so like last summer maybe. Oh, it was when I got into med school. It was like last September, October, because I knew I was going to then officially be leaving Cincinnati. I started it, and I just had people like friends and everyone who was kind of involved in my life at Keepsakes and beyond stitch on it, especially at Stitchaway. It kind of made its way through Stitchaway 2020, and so Barbara kept it when I moved because there were a few people that I still wasn't able to get because like we didn't have StitchCon and we didn't have Stitch, First Fridays for half the first part of the year, and just 2020 I wasn't able to get everyone, so I left it with her, and I think she was able to get a few other people, but I was kind of like, I'm ready to have it. I'm ready to have it back. I'm coming up to Cincinnati, so I asked her to go ahead and pin it for me and get it ready for framing, and I brought it home. So this is the Keepsakes house with the year, and then the real Keepsakes in Life are friends. I stitched in red because that's Barbara's favorite color and Stephanie's favorite color, and just kind of got it all in there. And we got 310, which Barbara stitched her little number there, her name, Barbara's initials. And then every single, I kept a running, I have a piece of paper with everyone who stitched what. I mean, I still know each one, but when I get it framed, I'll put those I'll put those on the back, so when I go back and whoever's looking at this can see who stitched what. So can you guess who the lighthouse and the kitty cat are? So yeah, it's kind of fun. It's kind of fun to go around and see, like, you know, can you guess who did the cupcake? So just so much fun. A wonderful commemorative piece of Keepsakes 2018 to 2020. So absolutely love this. Excited to get this all framed up and on my wall too. So every time I look at it, I just think of Keepsakes and all the wonderful, wonderful people and events that happen there. So yeah, those are my sort of FFOs. And then we'll eventually have it back from the framer section whenever I can get, because I still need to get Zuka framed. I need to get these framed. I gotta get these 3 finishes now framed. So, thankfully my parents also absolutely love Cincinnati. Are gonna be making trips up there so they can kind of help me get things to and from Keepsakes as we go along. And of course I hope to also travel up there as much as possible. I don't think I'm gonna be able to get back up there before the end of 2020, just with how everything's gonna be. My block doesn't end until the week before Christmas, and then we go back the first week of January, and you know, winter time and mountains are kind of dangerous, so we'll see. But yeah, and then I guess we'll do haul. I guess that's really, yeah. Now it's time for haul, and then I'll do the lap stand review, and then let you go. So the haul I have, this is a month and a half of haul. So I'll start with what I got. I'll start with what I got at Keepsakes last weekend. So the only size Q snap I don't have is 6x6. So I went ahead and got a 6x6 because it was 20% off. Might as well. And then I've been trying to make a stock up on 40 count fabrics. I have tons of 32 count fabric. I'm part of the Color and Cotton 32 count Fabric of the Month Club. I don't think signups have opened. I would like to start the 40 count as well and get like one of each every month, but I don't think those have reopened yet. So I can't do that yet. But I was like, you know, Keepsakes now has a few people that do 40 count. And so they've kind of stocked up and bulked up their supply. So I went through and I found these 2. This is a water green Newcastle linen in 40 count. Just a really, really pretty, it's like a light blue green color. It's neutral enough to do quite a few things on it. It was just really gorgeous. So I got a fat quarter of that. And then I got a fat quarter of 40 count water lily. So I got water green and water lily. And it's like this really pretty green. I'm actually doing I think I'm doing a Celebrate Christmas tray on the 40 count water lily, I mean. So I wanted more because I love this color and I think you can do a lot with this. And pretty much for me here on out, if I'm not doing a Celtic lady, pretty much the only 2 counts I work with now are 32 and 40. I keep the Celtic ladies at 28 count Lugana because for beading and everything, they suggest that that's your best. But I've heard you could do 32 count. So if I hadn't already started it on 28 count, I might have done it on 32 count. But yeah, those are pretty much my only 2 counts now. Because I think the coverage is really good on both of those, and the sizing on those are really good. So 32, I feel like it's like if you need something bigger, then 32 count gets you there. But if the pattern is really big and you don't want it to be that big, then 40. Like, can you imagine? I know people are doing it, so I'm just saying that this is on 40 count. I mean, if it was on 32, it would be a lot bigger. So I'm really happy that I now have the 40 count option to make things not quite as big as, as needed. So, And then I also got, so Colleen, she's Rebel Stitcher here on FlossTube and on, I think she is on Instagram too. She has started making needle minders, and she has quite a range of needle minders. And she was there on Friday. It was really nice seeing her. And she dropped off a new selection of needle minders on Friday. And so I snagged this one because I love it and it's very relevant to a lot of things. But less wine, more wine. So it kind of is, it's encouraging to not whine, you know. There's a difference between the different kinds of venting, whining, complaining, you know, whatever. But whining is definitely doesn't get you very far. So if you feel the need to whine, get some wine and then you'll probably feel better. So I loved it. And then I did get my fabric of the month from Color and Cotton. So she's kind of I don't want to say a month behind, but I got my August and September, and I haven't gotten my September one yet. So I'm getting the month later. I think my color, I got the shipping notification. So the September one should be here by like October 15th. So, but this color is, people have probably already seen this in a lot of different videos, but I'm just now doing it, so I'm gonna show it. So this is the August special edition fabric of the month for Color and Cotton. And it's this, blown out. Hold on, let me fold it. It's this like sunburst. Like that's the only way I can think to describe it. It's orangey, yellow, mottled. If I come in, like that's pretty accurate. I mean, well, that's even too dark. Like maybe, yeah, that's pretty accurate, I guess. It's just very, yeah, that's about it. It's just very bright. Very, very, that's pretty close, yeah. But gorgeous. It's not, and this is why I love Fabric of the Month clubs, because if I was at Keepsakes, I would have never bought this fabric. I mean, this to me, this is too bright. What the heck am I ever gonna do that on? Like, you know, kind of thing. But now that I have it, and I said this about the pink fabric that we got a few months ago as well. Now that I have it, I can see things I can do on this. Like I'm inspired to find, like this could be gorgeous for like if I need a sunset background for like a beach pattern or something. You know, I'm inspired to find something to fit on this, and I think it can be gorgeous. And I think it really can work for a lot of different patterns. So it's encouraging me to kind of open my mind about fabric, which is partly why I love the Fabric of the Month clubs. So yeah, so this is the August. I don't know if it's for sale or not. Like on her website, I'm not sure, and it doesn't have, this did not give it a name. It just says special edition. So I'm not sure, but absolutely love it. If you're able to get in that Crazy Annie's, or if you're able to get in this one, highly, highly recommend this fabric. I'm doing the my Celtic summer on a Color and Cotton. It's just a dream to work with. I cannot speak highly enough of Color and Cotton. So highly recommend. And then I got fabric. So this was a gift I got a few months ago, Stitchy Kindness, and it'd been on my wish list for a while, but I kind of struggled to find some fabric for it. And I finally got some fabric. So this is the Beach Chairs Dimensions kit. Love this. And so I got 32 count Touch of Blue linen. I think it's witch elf. I think it's not Zweigart because it doesn't have the orange, but yeah, so just cut. It's a little stiff, but not too bad. It's like a perfect sky blue in my opinion. So yeah, 32 count Touch of Blue linen, and that will be this. So yeah, so now this is officially all kitted up and I'm ready to start it. And then Crazy Annie's, no, not Crazy Annie's, Joy.filled Stitcher, Annie, she was doing, she's done it a few times now, but on one of the times she has a destash page on Instagram where she kind of destashes a lot of her things that she's already stitched or never gonna stitch, and just kind of pass it along so she can then go and get things she will stitch. You know, I love the idea. So she was doing an Instagram destash, And wow, things went very quickly. You had to be like really on it. I had post notifications so I could like immediately see what was being posted. But I got this 32 count colonial parchment Lugana. Just like a sweet little piece. It would be good for like a small piece. But I just thought the neutral fabric was really nice, and she was selling it at a very good price, I thought. So this was that's all the information on it. Yep. And then I got my first Garon toten bag. So she was selling this. I've never had a Garon toten bag before. I've only heard amazing things about them. And of course I love the sunshine stitchers. So she posted this, and I don't have any like, you know, St. Patrick's Day inspired bags, and it's a perfect size. So I got this. And again, it was at such a good price. So, and then the inside, I think this was a fabric of the month bag, I think she said. And she has so many, you know, she's quite a connoisseur of Garon toten bags. So yeah, so I got this one. And then that's it. That's all my haul for this time. Haul will be much slower these next few months. I mean, granted, this is a month and a half and a sale and all of that, you know, random destashes and stuff, but definitely will be slowing down on the haul for the next few months, with everything coming up and everything that I need to get framed and whatnot. So a lot of my cross stitch budget will be going towards getting my beautiful ladies up on the wall and everything. But yeah, and then I guess now I'll kind of talk about the stand. I got this. I will post the Etsy shop. I will link it below because they are really wonderful. I did have a little bit of trouble with it, but it was not their fault. When the box arrived with UPS, not USPS, but UPS, the box was destroyed. And I was missing about 4 pieces that had just clearly just fallen out because the box was open on both ends and had a hole in the middle. The fact that I had any pieces is a miracle. And I sent them a picture and they apologized profusely. They had to wait on a few pieces. I don't know, like they didn't have an immediate, like I got the last one on their Etsy store. So like I was the last one. So they didn't have like stock to just suddenly send me new things. They had to wait a little while. So they did send it, and they sent it priority, and I got it fast and put it all together. And so a few weeks ago I got to start using it, and I love it. I think it fits perfectly. Here, I'll kind of angle this down. So it fits in my lap really nicely. And you can turn this around really easily. Sometimes this gets a little snug, you know, if you turn it around too much. So I usually loosen it and then turn it. And so I'm able to like finish off my threads really easily, start threads really easily. It has like a little groove here, which is where I keep my highlighter and my scissors. And then each piece of this moves. So you can see, you know, each piece has, you know, tighten it, you can move it, angle it however you want. You can angle this however you want. Like it just really, it's very maneuverable, very flexible, quality wood. I mean, this stuff is incredible. You know, not poor quality at all. So yeah, and then when you're ready to take it out, you know, you just loosen these and you can just pull your Q-snap out. I'm not gonna do it all the way because I don't want to keep it in, but you know, it's this, you know, if you have a different size Q-snap, you just loosen this or tighten it. And then when you loosen these, that's how it, here, I'll just show you. So you kind of loosen them all the way and then it just comes right out. And then you just put it right back in and tighten them back. I've never done a tutorial like this, not tutorial, but a review like this before. So yeah, so just tighten it and then get this tight at the top. And then you can maneuver this and just get it however you want, angled however you want. So yeah, I've been using it. I have, partly how I've gotten so much done, because I mean, over the last month and a half is because of this, because I can do 2-hand stitching now. So I will like hold one hand back here, and I've gotten really good at just two-hand stitching it now. And I shouldn't say really good, but it does make it go a whole lot faster when you can two-hand stitch. And on 40 count, it goes even faster because you're only using one strand, so you don't have to worry as much about, you know, railroading or getting your stitches exactly flat, because with one strand, you know, there's not a whole lot you can do in the sense that like you're not trying to like get them to lay, you know what I mean? So yeah, and that autumn Quaker was 40 count, and I had the lap stand about halfway through finishing it, and I just was zooming. So highly recommend if you're able to find one. I know they're kind of hard to find and they can take some time, but I will link the store below. They sell other kinds of stands too, so they don't just do lap stands. I think they have quite a few different kinds of stands available. So I will link them. They're wonderful, very fast. I mean, as soon as I sent them the message that, you know, the picture of the UPS package, they immediately responded and were like, we're on it, we'll get it. And then, you know, let me know when they shipped the new pieces and why it was a little delayed. And it was great customer service. So I think that's officially it. I don't have anything else on my list, I don't think. Nope. So I guess plans. I guess I can do a little bit of plans. I'm gonna keep working on Patchwork Quaker and kind of make that my focus piece. Madame Chantilly has come out with a fall tray, which is so cute, so gorgeous. I have not purchased it yet because I'm waiting for the paper pattern to come to Keepsakes, and then I will be ordering it through them versus the PDF. And I have not quite decided. I want to wait till I get the pattern to then get the floss and then choose my fabric. So maybe next video I'll have that kitted up, or, well, probably not kitted up. We'll see. I'll at least have the pattern by then. So yeah, so that's coming down the pipeline. I definitely want to start working on that and at least get all of the pieces for that because it's so cute. And that summer tray was so fun. Actually, before, you know, so I might start that, or I do have the Christmas tray. So maybe I start working on that. So who knows? I don't know. I'm really liking the finishing thing, but nothing else is close to being finished. So I kind of want to work on some whips that I have. And we are kind of I'm kind of at the point where if I work on fall things, I'm not going to have them done before the end of fall. So I might start transitioning to winter Christmas stitching here soon. Especially now that I did finish Pumpkin Quakers. That was like my big fall piece. So maybe I start transitioning to winter and Christmas. Because I do have, I think I have 3 or 4 Christmas / winter whips. Like that Winter Wisdom that I started. And I do have like the Cricut Collection winter. I have summer and autumn finished for that. And maybe I should have winter done too. So yes, I've got a lot of like little things that I might work on. School obviously is going to take over my life, and that will definitely limit a lot of stitching. But Shiloh did post that she's starting a sale on a pattern. I can't remember any of the information. I'm going to post it right here. I can't remember any of the information about it right now, and I didn't write it down because I just saw it like 2 days ago. Which sounds like a long time ago, but it's not. So whatever. I love that. It's like a Christmas Quaker pattern, and she's starting it on November 1st. So maybe I'll do that instead of the tray. So many decisions to make, and I have school, so I don't know. So we'll see. It'll be a surprise to see what I ended up working on, you know, when I have my November video. I am going to try to be better about Instagram and posting stuff as I finish it and work on it, at least like once a week, just kind of a weekly update on what I'm doing. Because what is nice, I mean, I did really learn in this first block because I have to stitch in order to maintain sanity and relaxation. So because there were a few days I didn't, and I felt it. And just even getting up half an hour earlier and doing 30 minutes of stitching just to kind of like ease into my day, or 30 minutes at night to ease out of my day. Like I always have 30 minutes. So we'll see what happens with this block, but I'm gonna try and, because this is definitely a heavier block than first block. First block kind of theoretically eased us into it. So we'll see what happens. But thank you all so much again for your support always. I can't describe to you how much I really appreciate all of you and your support. And I had a couple people check in on me because they hadn't heard from me in a while and were making sure I was okay, and I really appreciate that. So yes, everything's great. Life is great. Definitely it's like my life now is school, cross stitch, or now wedding planning, because Islanders opened back up and everything's opened back up, and time to start seriously wedding planning again. So that's pretty much going to be my life. And of course, if you have any questions or comments, always feel free to reach out. Always happy to talk. I might not respond immediately, but I really appreciate it. And I do read all of your comments. I slacked, I'm sorry, on physically responding to them, but I do read them and I really appreciate them. And as always, if you have anything, I'm always here. So thank you all again. Have a great month, few weeks. We'll see when I'm back. And happy stitching always. Talk to you guys soon.